Robert Cosi, Canadian Contractor. I'm the publisher, and this is Steve Payne. What do you do?
I'm the editor.
Oh, right. Okay. We're talking about minimum wage today. Apparently, right across Canada, there is a movement afoot to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I'm sure you guys who are running construction companies are really thrilled about that. What's happening in Ontario?
So last week, Kathleen Wynne and Kevin Flynn, Kathleen Wynne, the Premier of Ontario, in case you don't know, and Kevin Flynn, the Labour Minister, announced a 32% increase in the Ontario minimum wage to occur within 18 months. It'll go from $11.40 to $15 an hour, or $11.60.
Yeah,
I make $11.40, right?
I've got the story here. We ran the story last week in CanadianContractor.ca. And the Liberals managed to find a small business guy, not a small business guy, but a small business guy, that was really excited about the 32% wage hike that he's about to have to pay to his employees. He says...
well, we don't know that he's paying minimum wage to his employees. He might be treating them much better than that, not like you.
Well, as a matter of fact, he might be dropping the rate down to $15 an hour as a result of this new legislation. But
what did he say, this guy? What's the name of the company? It's Oliver Signs in Windsor, Ontario. It's a third-generation family business, and Mr. Flynn, the Labour Minister, had his stand-up, his announced this policy. And what did this? What's his name? The third generation.
His name is Chris Oliver.
What did Chris Oliver say about the?
He was
the increase in minimum wage?
He's thrilled. It only makes sense that if you work full time, you should earn a livable wage. And apparently, the wages that you guys have been paying for anybody that's been a little laborers or maybe somebody like that, or office staff who's making less than $15 an hour, you are not paying them a livable wage, and you are scum, I think.
But it's good for Mr. Oliver to stand up for that. Like, you don't run into too many family businesses that are applauding hikes in their wage base, and I think it's kind of cool that he did that. What I really want to know is what his connection to the Liberal Party is.
Well, we don't know that,
right?
And it doesn't say in the story.
I mean, that's defamatory to say there is one.
Well, yeah.
So we're not saying that, but I mean, I'd really like to know because how many businesses do you have to knock on the door of to say? We've got the Ontario Labour Minister is going to raise minimum wage 32%. Would you say something nice about it? We've got the cameras coming. I mean, how many doors do you have to knock on? Our readers, not too many of those. By the way, if you applaud the minimum wage increase by 32%, go to CanadianContractor.ca and tell us that you applaud it.
Yeah, we'd like to hear the justification. As a matter of fact, it would be kind of interesting to hear from a contractor owner point of view whether, if you think the minimum wage is a smart thing to do, it'd be interesting to see why.
I need the 32% increase.
Yeah, well, that's not.
Because I'm looking forward to my $15 an hour. I mean.
Well, yeah, it'll be a cold day in hell. We got some comment on this story. Kyle says, does no one see what she's really doing here? She being Kathleen Wynne. The Liberals, the Fibrals, are so far in debt that this is the only way that they can raise enough money to even come close to paying it back. So it's really a matter of whether or not the Ontario government can pay off their debt, and of course if they raise the minimum wage, then they see more tax revenue as a result of the income tax, and they manage to pay off the debt. I'm not sure that I would take that logic, though. I don't think that logic works. The problem that I do have with the minimum wage, though, is that when you set a floor on wages, then number one, the business owner doesn't have the flexibility to be able to manage his costs and his finances, and number two, what happens is that a lot of people lose their jobs because the people that are running businesses have to reduce their staff in order to be able to pay for the increased costs. So that's Ontario. What's happening with the drywall issue out in the West?
Contractors are angry. Obviously, last fall, the government imposed a whopping great tariff on drywall going into Western Canadian provinces from the United States. And then afterwards, they realized they shouldn't have done that because the price of drywall, actually all across the country, skyrocketed. And they announced that the tariffs would be reduced, and they would have, and the prices would settle back to what they were normally. They haven't settled back. The prices are still very high, and contractors reading our magazine are angry, and we should talk about it next week.
Okay. If you've got any comments about either of the issues that we brought up, or you have anything happening in your province that you need to tell us about that we can chase that story, then let us know. Email me, email Steve. He doesn't answer his emails. Email me, Rob R. Cosi at CanadianContractor.ca, and we'll be glad to start that conversation.